today. We're going to be talking about quitting that high paying job that you got, working at 9 to 5, or the job that you really don't like, and trying to get yourself a affordable living, doing your own thing, and trying to live that dream. So you got to really start thinking about putting yourself in a position where you can make your own money doing your own thing and love what you do, or at least not hate it, and still be able to afford your standard of living. So I hope that this inspires you to take control of your life and make changes that bring you happiness. So working in a high paying job in America, it is always going to be a consistent grind. You're going to have stress with the suffocating and long hours, where taking a toll on your physical and mental health is a guarantee, basically. And building memories at the workplace is not what the American dream was supposed to be about. So while I was making a lot of money, I can tell you I was miserable. And a lot of people are when they're making a lot of money, because we are taught, at least those of us that were like born in the 70s and 80s, and some of us in the early 90s, we were taught and told that you either do what you love or love how much you get paid doing it, but not both. And then there were other scenarios where, when I knew that I was doing far more than anyone else could ever possibly fathom for the position that I was in, that the lack of appreciation for the effort that I put in and the lack of financial compensation for the workload that I took on myself was definitely boding an unfavorable position where, the most of us, that's why those people in Amazon started boycotting. They started forming unions. They don't feel like they're getting paid what their value is for the quantity of effort that they put into the company. But we're dealing with a new era where, yeah, they'll pay you $40, $50 an hour for this year, but next year they're going to replace you with an entire machine workforce, and then you're going to be out of a job. So if you find a way to work for yourself, you're not going to replace yourself. And there's always a demand somewhere. There's always a demand. You just got to find out the demand and meet that demand. But the fear of failing is definitely going to be crippling, and it's going to take a toll on relationships. It's going to take a toll on your overall well-being. I can tell you I was exhausted both physically and mentally doing this. But despite the financial rewards, I can tell you that most people feel the unfulfilled and unhappy state that they're in, with the lack of accomplishment from all of that work. Because think about how much you put in 60, 80, 120 hours into your salary, and you don't have all you do is sleep. You don't get a chance to spend your money. Other people can enjoy your money, but you don't have a chance to spend your money. You don't have a chance to have a good time. You work on the holidays, you work on the weekends, birthdays. You don't really get a chance to do anything. So then you end up understanding that your identity is what you do for a living. That's not a way to live. And you start feeling like you're just a robot, going to work every day, doing your job, and going back to the house feeling empty and unfulfilled. And I can tell you that that's going to feel like a waste of life, where you're stuck in a rut and unable to break free. And the thought of continuing down this path for the rest of your life is definitely going to be a terrifying thing to fathom. So the lifestyle is also very expensive when you have a high paying job. And this allows you to spend a small fortune on rents and mortgages, food, transportation, and entertainment, but you're still barely scraping by despite the high salary because of the poor spending habits. You might feel like living paycheck to paycheck is what's going on, with almost no savings, no security, and no freedom. You find yourself being a slave to the job and feeling trapped. But what's wrong with America? Oh, California's on fire. What's that got to do with the other 49 states? Like, you could go live in Washington State or something, go live in Nevada or something like that. What's wrong with like, you can't find anywhere else in the United States to live? It has to be California. And because California's on fire, you're like, screw that, I'm gonna stay in Taiwan now. Like, you just gave up on the whole United States. So like, what happened? The East Coast is cheaper than the West Coast. Why not go stay like in Vermont or something like that? I don't know. But we were talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, give it a couple weeks.